Hello and welcome back for part 9 of the Chimera build. First thing I'm going to be doing here is adding some more comfort carves to the back of the body. Carving on the horns is a bit more of an aesthetic choice than for comfort, but it also helps reduce the weight of the body a little bit. This is a slightly heavy guitar. And of course, after doing most of the rough carving, with the angle grinder, going in with some hand files to smooth it out a bit, and then finishing it off with a random orbital sander. Now moving on to carving the front. Not using the angle grinder here because the maple piece on the top is just not very thick, and I was concerned about carving through it accidentally. I'm putting a bit of a deeper carve up here just as a comfortable place to use as sort of an armrest. Not taking it quite as far as you'd see on something like a Strat, but having that little bit there is nice. And this has been something a little bit odd with the direction of the grain there, because the saw rasp kept trying to catch on it. And switching to a round file for this inner curve area. And once again, coming in afterward with a random orbital sander to even out the carve. Now this is the one area that I did intentionally carve deeper and just a little bit went through the maple for more access to the upper frets. So now I'm preparing another piece of electronics for this guitar. Part of the plan for this, because the preamp needs a 9-volt battery, rather than just putting in a regular 9-volt battery, what I've got is a rechargeable battery from Fishman. So what I'm doing here with the backplate is drilling the hole for the plug where you can recharge it. Also, because this backplate is still somewhat thick, I'm able to also recess this plug into the backplate. That's what I'm marking out right there. And then going in, once again using the precision router base to route out this little recess. And just a dry fit. Now the sanding begins. I was fairly lucky, local hardware store actually started stocking up to, actually it might be higher, but they at least have up to 320 grit sandpaper for this particular random orbital, which really helped save me a lot of time on sanding the large flat areas. Well, of course, some hand sanding is still necessary. Here I'm just using a chisel to add a slight bevel to the area of the body around the back plate. And then sanding it smooth. And then using sandpaper to add the same bevel all around the edges of the backplate itself. So now I just need to drill for the jack plate. This bit really needs to be sharpened. It did not want to cut here. I know that looks like a huge tear out, it's actually just a wood chip that's real often stuck to the side of the wood there. They're using a step drill just so that I can somewhat recess the jack plate into the side of the body itself. And using an awl just to mark out the positions for where to drill for the screws. And then a bit more sanding. This is just sort of my cheap way of getting a relatively soft sanding block, is that it's a block of wood that has an old washcloth wrapped around it, just so that it doesn't have any like hard edges or corners that might gouge while I'm sanding. And so now I'm just marking out the size for the nut out of this blank so that I can size it up. This one was already fairly close to the right size to begin with, so I just had to kind of sand down the edges a little bit. And just using a few drops of super glue to glue it in place. I like putting at least one on the end of the fretboard itself, and then one or two on the neck. Or more. Okay, that's a lot of super glue. I didn't need that much. I was taking a really fine tooth file and getting the sides of the nut to line up flush with the sides of the fretboard. But that will do it for part 9 of the Chimera build. So again, thank you everybody for watching, and hope to see you around for the next one.